again, everybody. The John Tyler Lions are now 2-0 in district play, coming off a win over Lindale, 76-13 this past Friday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. And we continue this week with Coach's Corner and another home game against an old rival, the Lufkin Panthers, who are back in an East Texas district for the first time in, what, a decade? And they will be at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium on Friday night to take on the Lions, and Coach Ricklan Holmes is with us. You played Lufkin just about every year during that period of time, but not as a district rival, so what's it going to be like having Lufkin back in the fold?
Getting it back to like it was from 94 through 98 when I was playing, understanding that, you know, now we got to take care of business to put ourselves in a position as far as the district play go in a playoff position.
When you played, it was Lee JT, Longview, Lufkin, Knack, and Marshall. That was the district, right?
That was district.
And that was a really good old district.
It was a good, tough district, too. A lot of good battles between those teams that was in that district. And a lot of people, you know, made some deep playoff runs coming out of that district.
Yeah, they really did. And that district always got you ready for those playoff runs,
I always did.
Didn't it?
I always did, from every aspect, from the mental side and the physical side. It got you ready.
And the rivalries were good. Now, you were gone in those years when we were down to 4 teams.
Oh, the
5A
robin.
level, the double round robin years.
Yeah, I was going for that one.
Lee JT, Longview, Lufkin, that was it. That was our 4-team district.
Yeah.
I never happened, to my knowledge, in Texas high school football, double round robin.
Yeah, had to play everybody twice.
Everybody twice. And you're talking about beatdowns, because none of these teams like each other, right?
Yeah. You know the old saying, you know, it's hard to beat somebody twice anyway.
Well, you played at Oklahoma State. How would you have liked to play at Oklahoma twice every year?
I wouldn't have liked to. You know, I think the fans would have loved it because of the Bedlam deal, but me personally, I wouldn't want to go
and from
through
a player's point of view, the emotions you have to get up for those games, right? I mean, it's a little different playing
It's a little different, you know, because you, first of all, you get kind of used to what they do from the first game, and now the second game you go into it with a different mind frame than he did the first game. So, you know, that could take a toll on you, not just mentally, but physically.
Talk to me before we watch the highlights, and there are plenty of them. You scored in just about every way that you can score. And we've said that before this year, but 76-13, it's not a school record, but a lot of points were scored on Friday night against Lindale. Why?
And I was very surprised when I found out what the real school record was. I think it was 111
111 against Palestine, I believe.
Against Palestine. But then I looked at it again. That was during the Tyler High era, not the John Tyler era. So technically we kind of did set a record, but you know, whatever that is. But I mean, when you take care of your business and you score at all phases of the game, that just shows that your team is starting to understand to play as a complete team. Not just put all the pressure on the offense to score, not just put pressure on the defense to, you know, turn the ball over so that we can score, but now in the special teams area, what can we do as a team to make ourselves better and improve our game?
And I didn't think Lindale was that bad. They looked fairly fundamentally sound to me. You just made plays.
Yeah, and you know, anytime somebody makes a mistake as a team and they don't capitalize on it, then that shows, you know, that team competitiveness. Well, against us, we consider ourselves a pretty good team. And when you play a good team and you make turnovers, you make mistakes, and they capitalize on it, that just lets you know that they're also a good team. That's what they practice for. Kind of like, you know, 3 weeks ago when we played Robert Lee, which is another good team. We made mistakes. They capitalized on it. They made more plays than we did, and they ended up winning that game. And as you look at the game against Lindale, it's pretty much the same concept.
And among the plays you made, you blocked 2 punts.
Yeah.
You had 2 pick sixes, right?
Yes.
You had a scoop and score fumble return, I think, didn't you?
Yes.
What all? I'm trying to remember.
Kickoff return,
Kickoff
return.
Yeah.
We had first play from the line of scrimmage was a run. If you look at it, we really didn't throw the ball that much because we was having so much success with the ball on the ground, running attack, which that's something that we've been working on since the beginning of the season with Coach Blaylock and Coach Gay and an offensive line. Knowing that, you know, defensively we can also cause turnovers and we can create points. So just taking advantage of those opportunities that was given to us and capitalizing on it.
Now, before we move on, we need to also recognize Gio McAllister. Week before last, in your win over White House, he had all those touchdowns. He was not only named the American State Bank Player of the Week, but the Built for Tough Texas High School Football Player of the Week.
Yes.
Now, he didn't have to do as much Friday night because everybody else around him, so statistically, Gio didn't have to do a whole lot.
Yeah.
But he still has to engineer that show. He's still the quarterback.
Yes.
But talk to me about Gio and the progress he's making right now.
from last year to this year is like night and day,
Yeah.
which I kind of expected that from Gio going into this season because, you know, Gio didn't go through the same process as our previous quarterbacks did, you know.
Like Greg Ward.
Like Greg Ward and David Bush and Jeremy Johnson. All those guys right there started out on varsity, but they didn't start out as quarterbacks. They started out as wide receivers. And they went through
Which
that
is what
first,
your next guy, Bryson Smith, he's doing that very thing
now
right
he's
now.
getting back into the mold of the quarterbacks that we're used to seeing.
Right.
So Gio's coming from a JV team. Now he's thrown into the fire as a junior.
And he was a
on the varsity
linebacker
team.
as a freshman, too,
That's right.
on top of
That's
that.
right. And he had to learn and he had to understand that, you know, the quarterback role is a lot more than just throwing and, you know, understanding what you need to do. You got to learn how to, just like you said, you got to learn how to engineer and direct your offensive team. And by directing your offensive team, it goes with the rest of the team.
What's the quarterback's most important job, in your opinion?
Most important job is to make sure that he don't turn the ball over. That's the most important thing. Don't throw interceptions. The next thing is to make sure that everybody knows what they need to do. And the only way to do that is to make sure he communicates the plays and the information in a dialogue to where everybody understands it.
I've heard that term, game manager, bus driver. You know, now Gio is anything but that. He makes his own plays. But still, when people say that, what are they talking about, the quarterback?
When you talk about, you know, this is the guy that leads the team. This is the guy that leads that offense. You know, I put Gio in the terms of he's the engine to our Corvette right now.
Okay.
You know, I think if you take Gio,
A Corvette, huh?
Yeah, I think
Okay,
if
like
you take Gio out of our equation right now, it's not a Corvette, it's a Nova. You know, so. You know,
do they even still make Novas?
They do still make Novas. Matter of fact,
Okay,
they're recreating them.
Okay.
And now they all old models they're just making up. But anyway, as we get back to Gio, I mean, the way he is progressively getting better week in and week out, it just lets you know that, you know, he's understanding exactly what he needs to do, and he's going out there and he's doing it.
Yeah, he's doing a great job, but there are other guys around him. Let's talk about the defense in particular. You had some of the young men that maybe people haven't heard of. Pierre Leonard had a heck of a game for you.
He's been making
Williams.
a lot of noise.
I mean, who are these guys? Talk about them.
I mean, you talk about Pierre Leonard. He was a guy that should have been playing on varsity last year, but because he moved from Chicago with our UIL rules, he had to sit out a year, and he had to play JV as a sophomore, which he would have been on varsity. He comes and he brings energy, he brings tenacity, and he brings a physical dominance up there next to Braylon Jones that we were really missing last year. So now, you know, we have a strong front with him, and now you bring in a young linebacker that is learning what to do. He does get confused from time to time.
Chandra Williams,
yeah,
you're talking about.
Chandra Williams, but he does know how to make plays, and he knows how to play the linebacker position.
Don't the kids actually call Pierre Chicago? Isn't that his nickname?
That's his nickname, Chicago.
Who pinned that on him? You?
Yeah, I think we started calling him when he first moved in. Started calling him Chicago because I really got his name confused. I think sometimes I used to want to call him Leonard instead of Pierre.
Leonard Pierre. I've heard you call him Leonard Pierre. Pierre Leonard. It's Pierre Leonard, right?
Yes, Pierre Leonard.
Okay, I want to make sure I'm right about that.
So instead of butchering his name from time to time, just start calling him Chicago.
Chicago. I like that. Well, Chicago, Pierre Leonard again, blocked 2 punts, did a whole lot of good things. A lot of good things happened in that win over Lindale on Friday night. So let's roll the tape. Coach Holmes brings along right at 10 minutes a video of JT's win against the Lindale Eagles at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. It is district win number 2 after the White House game 2 weeks ago. And
first
let's
play
start
off the back is Wilson's TD run. Hit the gap, great blocking up front, and then he just used his speed and his quickness to get there and make that race towards the end zone.
Would you call Jeremy fast or quick? What is he?
I think he's a little bit of both because he has a burst that makes him quick, but then his acceleration makes him fast. So.
You know, I hear these guys talk about these 40-yard dash times. In my book, for football, you just saw his explosion, his first 10 yards is what makes the difference, isn't it?
Most definitely. His first 2 steps are very explosive.
And what are we looking at here?
This right here was a 2-point stop that our defense made after Lindale scored, and they was trying to get an extra point on the board, but we stepped up big and kept them out the end zone from not only getting 2 points, but any points at all.
And so they never led in the game. It was 6-6 at that point, and then right back you go.
Yeah.
What's this? That's Jeremy again.
A little nice, nifty first down run by Wilson. As you see on the tight view when we go in, he has a little signature spin move that we done labeled on him right now.
What do you call it?
Kind of like the PlayStation X button move.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. How about that?
Yeah.
Could you do that?
I don't know if I could do it as well as he did, but I think I could do it.
I like it. Here's the, is this the touchdown?
Yeah, this is a touchdown run by Wilson. Nice, hard, tough run. Getting to the outside, cutting it back up, and finding that crease.
Yeah, 4 touchdowns on the night. This is number 2.
Yeah. He's becoming a complete back. You know, he's not only just using his speed, but he's using his toughness to get up there and get that tough yardage. This right here was a big hit by DeAndre Williams. Like I said, he's a transfer kid that actually came from Lindale, and he read this play pretty good and came off and make a great tackle, great hit.
Yeah, big play by DeAndre. He also scored a touchdown. I guess we'll see that. No, we won't. That's one of the highlights.
That's one of the highlights
that
didn't film got messed up. This is going to be the first block punt by Pierre. Comes straight up the gut.
He smothered it too.
Yeah. He said he felt it hit his hand and he thought it went over his head forward. And so after he looked back, he didn't see it. Other guys picked it up for him, and that was a great play for us because it put our offense in a real good position to get in the end zone again.
Yeah, he breaks through big there. Got it. Now that was the first one. The second one, he absolutely just smothered the ball.
Yeah, the second one, he got all of it. Mm-hmm. I think we're gonna see that one about right here. Okay. It's gonna be the next one.
All right.
He pretty much almost caught it.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna pick it up and go and get in the end zone, but he couldn't quite get it. He rolled onto the 1 yard line where we ended up scoring.
Well, here it is again. So what a night. Couldn't block him. And I mean, he smothered that ball, didn't he? Wow. Pierre Leonard. Heck of a night. He also had a couple of tackles for loss.
Oh, yeah. He had a couple of tackles. It's going to be a TD run by Gio. Yeah. Using his elusive moves and long stride to get to the end zone.
You only ran, I'm showing, what, 29 plays in the game? Something like 30 plays?
Like 33 plays total.
Scored 76 points.
Yeah. This is an emerging sophomore right here, Damian Miller. Big receiver that's going to be able to give us another look on the offensive side of the ball, being able to stretch the field because he's big and he's fast, and he gets upfield pretty quick.
And he plays defense too.
He also plays safety. It's going to be a good run right here, first down run by Jeremy Wilson.
Is Damian Miller now your only two-way starter with Nick Kane? Well,
actually, he's not a two-way starter anymore because Jordan Owens is now starting.
Okay, Jordan Owens is starting safety. Okay, but he can play both ways.
But he can play both ways.
Here's Jeremy again. Jeremy will be a candidate for Player of the Week this week. He wound up with 4 touchdowns on the night, and I'm showing, looking here, 163 yards rushing.
Yeah. It's going to be it was a great pitch if you're going to see it on the tight view. As Gio was falling down, he saw Lil Wilson to the side, and he just pitched it out to him as soon as he was falling. And he just used his speed to get to the end zone. Yep. Touchdown.
Dives the pile on, got it, touchdown. Number 3 out of 4.
This right here is going to be a sack by Josh Williams. He's a backup, a D lineman. Coming to the game with fresh legs, working upfield.
Is he a junior or senior?
He's a senior.
Okay.
This right here is going to be the interception by Shundrick. It's his first interception.
Well, now, was this one the one called back? One of them was called back by an illegal block, was it not?
I don't know if that was his or that was Jalen's. One of them got called back.
I mean, the interception stood, but the touchdown, maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah. And as you see on that last one, Pierre actually tackled the quarterback and almost tackled the running back at the same time.
Remember that Bubba Smith commercial? Yeah. Tackle the whole backfield, throw him out, you'll find the guy with the ball. That's kind of what he was doing there. All right, here you are on offense.
Yeah, it's going to be Pierre getting the ball on offense, getting him a little swing pass out there.
I forgot about that. Yeah, he even caught a pass.
Yeah. So he was all over the place.
He was all over the place.
It's going to be a first down run by Gio. Well, actually, after this play, it's type V.
Why did he have to sit out a year transferring from Chicago, coming down from out of state?
Because he moved here and he had to establish his residency here in Texas.
All right. Well, you're glad he did now, aren't you?
Glad he did. Glad he did. And the good thing about it, we got him for one more year after this year. So.
Yeah, he'll be a dandy next year. Who's this?
This is Gio, first down run. Getting out there, using his speed, his big body. And I think this right here is going to be a touchdown pass to Nick Kane. A little swing pass.
Good blocking in front of him.
Good blocking up front. Makes his way to the end zone.
Good job for Nick. Here it is again. There were some scouts at the game on Friday night. I know they were impressed. You got several guys that have verbal commitments right now, but those are non-binding. Better offers come along, they're still open to change their mind, right?
This right here is Chandra's second interception he took in for a touchdown.
So he had 2 picks on the night, and here it is again. Good pressure creates that too, right?
Good pressure by Pierre on that one, once again.
So Pierre did everything but actually score a touchdown.
Yeah, he did everything but actually score a touchdown. It's a good long pass right here to Gross.
That's done, right?
Yeah. And then we're going to get another pass after this one to Kane. This right here is just a close view.
Gross a junior now. Now this is the pass to Kane?
Yeah, it's going to be the first down pass, Kane. I love the way he keeps his feet moving. You know, even after, the first contact, what can you do after that? I love that about him.
Plus, it takes a certain amount of, you got to be, there's a macho element to catching the ball over the middle.
Yep.
Right.
You got to have some kind of toughness about yourself.
I mean, because you play DB, and all DBs are looking for the opportunity to clobber a wide receiver, right?
Most definitely. This right here was a pass from the starting quarterback to the backup quarterback, Bryson Smith. He's a pretty slippery little kid now. It's going to be a touchdown run by Wilson. I think this was his last touchdown.
I believe that's number 4.
Yeah.
And again, he started out.
Good blocking on the edge.
Was it 2 years ago as a sophomore he played slot receiver?
Played slot receiver.
Yeah.
This right here is going to be a punt return by Dontavian Gross for a touchdown. Make a couple of people miss.
Run it in.
the end zone.
Here it is again. Right. There you go. Can't teach that.
No, you can't teach that. That's just athletic ability. And this right here is going to be the muff punt. And I think it's going to be picked up by
Jalen Watson.
Jalen Watson. He's a backup outside backer. And he gets his first touchdown of the year.
2 or 3 guys had their hands on it, but he's the one who made
he's the one that ended up coming up with it.
Yeah, he gets all the glory, right? But special teams had I guess, a great night.
It did.
And that turned into 76-13 win. You're 2-0 in the district right now. I mean, would you call that the drive? You still got a lot of work to do, but semi, sort of, kind of in the driver's seat right at the moment?
We are. I think we are. As long as you continue to win your games as they come to you,
right.
I think you keep yourself in a position to where you control your own destiny. And right now, with a 2-0 start and 5 games left, now we move on to 3. We just got to make sure we continue to do what we've been doing, which is progressively getting better and taking care of the mistakes that's cost us the one loss that we had this year.
And you'll have to get better because these next 2 weeks, this week and then in this next week on the road, you got a couple of pretty tough games coming up.
And these 2 games have been circled on everybody's calendar. For one, they thought, you know, because of us, Lufkin and Ennis, we were the top 3 teams to compete for this district title again, along with White House. So, you know, that now that we started out, and now it's coming to that point to where I think Lufkin is 2-0, correct?
No, they got beat by NAC.
No, they got beat by NAC first, so they have to dig their way out the hole.
I was going to say, let's not overlook Nacogdoches. They're pretty good too, aren't they?
Yeah, most definitely. With all that talent that they have.
And all those teams are ahead of you, right?
Yeah, and they, you know, I think we got NAC last. Yeah. So as long as we go out tomorrow, go out Friday, and we take care of our business like we need to against Lufkin, we'll continue to stay in the driver's seat. And that puts pressure on everybody else in the district, you know, to take care of their business and make sure that they put themselves in a position to either knock us off or move themselves up.
Lufkin, of course, Coach Outlaw was there for many years. He passed away 3 years ago. Todd Quick is the head coach now. They've kind of kept the same system, more or less, haven't they?
They have. Nothing has really changed in Lufkin, Texas, as far as what they do with the football team.
Yeah.
Because of the mass respect that Coach Outlaw have, and Coach Quick was one of his assistant coaches at the time. He felt that he should keep things the same because of the success that they've always had up under Coach Outlaw, and you can't do nothing but respect that.
Yeah, Robert Ely played Lufkin earlier this year down there in Lufkin, and they have a couple of really, really talented players. One kid, Kiki Kuti, wide receiver, he can really run. Super
fast, quick. He's one of those kids. He kind of reminds me of the kid that just left from Mount Pleasant, the one that's playing for Baylor right now. The speed that he does have, he has the opportunity to bust one at any time. So what we got to do is make sure we keep him in front of us and not let him get it behind us.
Lufkin always has athletes, so how do you, and in the game, I remember the game last year, that was Gio's first start. It was down there, and you know, they beat you.
Yeah.
He made a lot of mistakes.
A lot of rookie mistakes.
He ain't a rookie anymore.
Not a rookie no more. Not a rookie no more, and neither is that team, because most of the majority of that team came back to us this year. So I don't expect them to make the same mistakes they made last year at the first part of the season. Now we're in the middle of the season, and I think that we've grown into a team that is going to be very competitive, and I think that we're going to compete and make sure that we take care of the business that we need to take care of to win football games.
From a coaching point of view, do you show them last year's stuff, or do you just pretty much focus on this year?
You show them a little bit of it, just to make sure that they understand the mistakes that we did make then, we can't make again. And to understand that that may or may not have cost us that game last year.
I remember last year, much anything, it was the bad snaps. It was the first game of the year.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of you scored a lot of points, but so did they, and they beat you, but there were a lot of bad snaps, just a lot of very correctable mistakes, which you had corrected by week 2 when you won the game. But your guys have always been, as I recall, real tuned in to revenge games.
Yes.
When somebody beats them,
yeah,
they remember.
They remember. You know, it's kind of like.
And they do. Do they remember? They'll remember last year, won't they?
Most definitely. And they feel like they owe Lufkin something because they gave them basically their first loss of the year last year.
One of only a handful.
Yeah.
You know, and then you went on, of course, and made the playoffs and did well during the year. But you know, as you look forward now to this ball game, I mean. On paper, this looks like this ought to be another high-scoring shootout.
It should be. Well, that's what people think.
But that's really not what you're after, is it?
Yeah, because I'm a defensive coach, and like I told people in the last interview before we played White House, I did not want another high-scoring game like we did in 2013.
Yeah. You scored a lot, they didn't.
Yes.
And again, that's another situation where they beat you last year, and the how zoned in your guys were to that ball game, it was pretty obvious from the get-go, wasn't it?
Most definitely, and they knew that they had to do a lot of more things that they didn't do from the previous year to take care of their game this year.
Do you have to say anything to them about last year, or do they just remember automatically?
No, they automatically remember. You don't have to bring it up to my kids. They already understand, and they know, and they feel it, and they understand that when we go out to practice Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we got to go out there to get ready to go out there and play Lufkin, but to beat John Tyler.
Who are the obvious leaders on this football team for you?
Well, you start with Gio. I mean, he is the quarterback. He is the guy that, you know, when things go great, everybody praises him. When things go bad, everybody downs him because they feel like he should be the leader of the team.
Right.
Because he is the quarterback. Also, you got Nick Kane. He's a very vocal leader.
Is he?
Him and Jeremy Wilson on the offensive side of the ball. And then the offensive line, Ken Holmes and Teddy Attaway and Polito. You know, those guys are a band of brothers right now, and they're getting the younger guys like Montgomery, which is a sophomore, and Adrian Harris, which is a junior, and they're getting them to understand that, hey, this is what needs to be done. Also, Rodney Bender, you know, he's the silent assassin.
Yeah, he's quiet.
You know, he doesn't say much, but when he does say something, he means it, and he wants everybody to understand it.
When you guys meet at the center of the field before the game, just talk to me about what they're doing. I mean, you kind of made that one of your things this year. What are the kids doing? And it's no coaches there. It's all just the guys. Right?
It's their time to come together and understand what they need to do, and understand that, you know, we are all we got. I tell them all the time, look to your left, look to your right, and look behind you. That's all that we got. There is nobody else to come to play this game. There's nobody else to put out there to play this game. So when they meet in the middle of the field, they say their prayer because, first of all, we got to put God first. With everything that we do, win, lose, or draw, and they understand that, and they just make sure that they give the glory to Him first, make sure that they know it's just us, and it's time to go to work.
Injury-wise, I mean, sometimes I'm hesitant to even bring it up. But knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
I mean, there's, you know, that's been the good. That's good news right now.
It is good news. We have made it through a pretty tedious game stretch right now, pretty rough and physical game stretch, and we don't have no major injuries right now. Besides Ike, he still has the cast on his hand, and I think he has maybe 1 or 2 weeks left with that cast on.
Freshman and JV teams, how are they doing right now?
The freshman teams are actually very successful right now. I think the B team is 2-0 in district, and the A team I think is 1-1 right now.
Okay.
I think they lost a close game the first week against White House. The A team did, but the JV team is progressively getting better. They hadn't won a district game yet, but hopefully, you know, as they continue to practice harder and get better, they come together and they start having some success.
You don't carry a ton of guys on your varsity either, do you?
No.
You want to play it. If they're not going to contribute on Friday night, you want to play in.
I want to play on JV.
Right.
But when you look at my JV team, you look at the guys that's on varsity, there is a great amount of guys that's on varsity that could help that JV team. But because of what they do on varsity, there's no sense of wasting them that.
But you've got guys, senior guys this year that are playing and playing well, who were JV guys last year as juniors, waiting their turn to play. I mean, you've got several of those guys.
Exactly.
Tommy Dyer comes to mind.
Tommy Dyer is one of them.
Who else?
Jordan Owens is one of them. You know,
he's starting for you now.
These are kids. These are kids that played all year as juniors on JV, and now they're starters on varsity as seniors.
And I'm sure it hurt for them last year.
It probably
did. The JV.
It probably did.
But they didn't quit. They hung with it.
It helped them get better.
Yeah.
Because the more they play, the better they become.
I mean, I can only imagine it had to be tough on them last year, not being a part of the varsity team and waiting for that 1 year.
That one year, that one opportunity. And, you know, I try to explain it to them each year, every year. I try to let the sophomores finna be juniors understand that, you know, everybody won't be on varsity as a junior. You know, that's why it's called JV, junior varsity.
Right.
You know, because the majority of the juniors are supposed to be there. Because in a real program, I mean, when I'm talking about like the Allens and, you know, the Katie's, you know, the majority of their varsity team is seniors. They don't have a lot of juniors and sophomores up. You know, but that's because of the progressive building up that they've done with their kids from their freshmen to the JV team to the varsity team.
And now it's paying dividends for you. What kind of game do you expect against Lufkin on Friday?
I expect us to go out there and be disciplined. I expect us to be focused and understand that we got to handle our business on Friday night to keep ourselves in the driving position and not get over that passionate side.
Still 5 tough games left too, aren't there?
Still 5 tough games, but we got to worry about game 3 right now, which is against Lufkin.
And again, that game is at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium on Friday night. It's the JT against Lufkin. Again, 2 old rivals. They've been playing each other for years, but it's been a decade since they played each other as district rivals. And Lufkin comes in 1-1 in district, and JT, of course, 2-0 after beating White House and Lindale. The Lions need and deserve your support at the stadium Friday night, 7:30. So we'll look forward to seeing you at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. For Coach Holmes, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.